Hi, this is my implementation for the Symptom Manager project for the Android Coursera courses. And well, first we have the login screen, which is just an activity that allows users to authenticate using a Spring OAuth 2 from server and client side. I'm using a custom client user detail service, and the users can be either patient or doctors, and they are currently hard-coded on the server side, which is running on my machine, and I'm using a Spring GPA for an in-memory database, and let's see how this goes. So we authenticate with the first patient, and this patient is okay. We go to the patient information activity, which basically tells us what is saved on the database for the patient, and we see that it has a name, last name, gender, birth date, and a medical record number, which is the ID of the patient. All the users have an unique ID that includes doctors and patient. The ID is not it's not shareable by either entity, and I'm using that for the medical record number because it's easier. This is a very basic implementation of this application, but I think it fulfills most of the requirements. So we also have an edit button, which allows you to take a picture, and that picture is saved in the database, though I cannot currently download it from it yet. And we see we have two options as patients, and button for alarms or reminders, and a button for check-ins. So this is what a check-in would look like. For example, when you have just one medication, you have to how bad is your mouth, pain, sore throat, and the different choices that you can make. And you have did you take your pain medication? No, yes. If you click yes, then you have to put the date and time you took this medication. Saving it here, and does your pain stop you from eating, drinking? If you leave some of these options or these answers unanswered, it won't allow you to check in, so you have to choose one of the possible choices here. And you check in, and that's pretty much how it works. That check-in is now saved on the database. If you go to the alarms option, it allows you to configure it 4 different alarms. And one of them, for example, if we go, I have 10, let's see, 10, 7. We set the first one, and we set another one on 12, maybe, or yeah, 12. So what happens is, now we want to see if this works. I have to use I'm using Genymotion, by the way, the Genymotion simulator, so I'm gonna have to do that here. Let's see, I'm gonna put here 11, and I get my notification. I'm using a broadcast receiver to receive this alarm, and this was from the first time we had there. And if we click on it, we go to the check-in page, and we can check in again. Let's put another time here or another date, so we can differentiate it from the other one. Set, and no, check in. So that's basically how the reminders work. You can set 4, and let's just get it out of here. And what happens when you log in as a doctor? Well, when you log in as a doctor, let's see, the first doctor here, doc01. When you log in as a doctor, you also have your doctor interface where you have the information of this doctor, and you can upload another picture, and here you have a search view for your patients. So we just logged in from the first patient, which name is hard-coded, and I know which one it is, but you can look it up only by name or name and last name. or just by last name. And then when you click on it on the list, you see the information of your patient when you're the doctor, and you see the check-ins that this patient has made so far. I started this without any check-ins, so I have only 2 check-ins, which were the ones I did right now. So we see the first one, and we see the answers and the questions. How about your mouth? Well controlled. Did you take your medication? Yes, medication taken at 28th 11 2014, the time, and does your pain stop you from eating, drinking? Moderate. If we compare it to the other we did, we'll see, for example, that some of the answers and the time the medication was taken and the date are different. So that's all getting saved on the database, and the doctor can access it at any time. What happens if the doctor wants to update this patient's medications, for example, these medicines? He has a list of the current medicines that this particular doctor assigned to this patient, and right now there's only one, but we have here like a delete medicine, which we can delete the one that was there previously, and we could add it again, for example. But we can also add any kind of medicine. I only have like 6 of these on the database, but that is not a problem because the doctor can write literally anything he wants, like it works in the real world right now. He can prescribe the medication that he needs, and this will be added into the database. The server takes care of that, and then it returns the list and it's shown on the application. So if we add, for example, I don't know, something like this, that will be added and then returned, and I will see it here, and I can also delete it and add it again, and there's no problem with this. So we can come here and write other medications, like I don't know, or let's see, okay, or something like that, and it's all added here, and this will update the patient's medicines in the check-in. So if we go back as to the interface, let's do it like this, it's faster, I think. Okay. If we go back to our application as patient 1, we get to see here that if we check in once again, the medicines are updated, and now we see the specific question for each medicine, like did you take your medicine 1, did you take your medicine 10,000, did you take your medicine 45, did you take acetaminophen, or does your pain stop you from eating and drinking, are also there. But this is really this is a scroll view with a linear layout inside, so we can just add anything, and it's being added dynamically, so we have no problem with this. And if we check in, we can see that again, and that's pretty much it. Also, if you go and log in as another doctor, for example Dr. 2, he has 2 patients with name 3, different last names, but this one patient in particular has 2 doctors. So if we go to current medicines and we update the medicines from Dr. 2, let's put something here that we can remember easily, like candy. You can see now that with this patient, sorry, I didn't click it. Yeah, let's just go and do this again. It's easier this way. Yes. Yeah, okay. So if we log in as patient 3, and we try to check in as patient 3, here, we see that they have 2 medicines that were not from the doctor, we just that just prescribed the other medicines, because this patient has 2 doctors assigned. So he will check in with the first doctor he has on the list, and well, I have to answer the questions. And then he will check in with the doctor we just saw. Just easy, faster, easy. Okay, and if we go back to the doctor, we will only see the check-in, which was for him and not for the other doctor. This is log 2, sorry. So the other check-in, it can only be viewed by the other doctor because it's confidential for each of them. So that's my approach to this application. It contains more than one user-facing function available only to authenticated users. Like you can see, like some doctors can only view data for themselves, or we have some screens, user interfaces that are only for patients, and others that are unique for doctors. It's also fulfilling the requirement for the fundamental Android components, like it has different activities, and it has a broadcast receiver that receives the alarms so that it can display the notification, and it has async tasks running so that it can communicate to the server and not, get stuck on the user interface. It is communicating over HTTPS with an unsecure key, but the HTTP direction is hard-coded on my code because I'm using the Genymotion simulator. So if you wanted to use the code that's going to be uploaded online, you should go and change that. It allows users to navigate between 3 or more user interfaces, screens at runtime, and what else were the requirements? Here we have after the async tags are running outside the UE thread, so that's pretty cool. Also the broadcast receiver is running outside the UE thread, and I'm taking pictures, so that that fulfills the requirement for multimedia capture. The rest of the requirements, which are particular to these applications, are going to be better explained in the file attached with this. But overall, it defines a patient the way it was supposed to, as its own entity, also a doctor. You can set at least 4 reminders per day, because the alarms that are being set are daily, and this reminder, if you acknowledge it like we did, then it triggers the check-in. All the questions that were supposed to be asked on the check-in are there, and the doctor can update the list of medicines for each of his patients. And all the communication is done via HTTP, and I am communicating to a Spring server, so that pretty much covers it. I am not currently alerting the doctor if a patient experiences pain, but if I have the time to upload it before, I shall do so. Thank you very much.